Let's see how this goes. Hi, different style video for you guys today. I'm mixing things up a bit. See, I got my hair parted on the other side of my head. That's how you know I mean business. The last thing I have to do on the MR2 before I can drive it again is set my ignition timing on the distributor and bleed the coolant. And I had to change out these clamps here on the intake because I didn't like the ones that were on there. Done. I replaced these because they're all rusty and they look like garbage, and I just put some regular worm gear clamps because it's before the turbo, so it looks clean and fresh. Also, in case you were wondering, I did order a brand new HKS blow-off valve for the car. Since that one looks like crap, I'll have a new one on here in a couple days. Okay, here goes. My battery's dead. I'm trying to use deductive reasoning here on why this car is not starting. I discharged the battery, still won't crank over. The only thing I can think of is my distributor is 180 degrees out because it's the only thing I touched and it ran before I did that. Apparently I just don't know how to make markings legible. I reset the distributor timing. I used my old video footage to make sure 100% it's lined up correctly. There's no way I have that wrong. It can only go one of two ways, and it's exactly the same as it was on the video footage. I matched it up because the other side has a notch on it, and that notch was facing down. That can't be the issue of why this thing's not starting. And the battery is charged, still not helping. The only thing left is possibly the starter, which is really weird because it started just fine before I started doing any of this work. Here's a new problem I got. That's my OEM Toyota starter. This is a brand new one I just got. And if you see looking down on them, this is clocked differently than the motor on this starter. This one is rotated that way. And you look over here, it's rotated this way. And the problem is this right here is hitting on a coolant bypass pipe in the engine bay, so it doesn't fit. Today's video, when it first started out, was I was gonna just do these two things real quick and we were gonna drive the car, and I was supposed to take it to Sierra Vista, get it up on the lift, and take care of the oil cooler and charge AC. And now this is happening. All right, new starter. And this one is identical shape to the OE Toyota one. I think it's a reman Toyota. New starter is installed, and then I just got the distributor loosely in there so I can turn it to clock it, and then I also got to bleed the coolant. Fingers crossed that I'll at least have something go right today. Please let this work. Please work. I don't get it. It's acting like it's a starter or a dead battery. The battery is just fresh off the charger. It's a brand new starter. The only thing I can think of is somehow the wiring just all of a sudden went to crap. At this point, I really don't understand what's going on. It may have 12 volts, but it may not have enough cranking amps. Could be like a bad cell. I didn't mess with anything. There's nothing. There's no grounds that I would have disconnected whatsoever. I know this sounds absolutely ridiculous, but the only other thing I messed with is the ground wire. It goes from here to the valve cover to the side of the engine. And I did clean off the metal right there, but maybe that ground wire, just from moving it, caused the wire to, I don't know, it's an old wire. Weird things happen when you move old wires. Let's try this. All right. Jumper cable to strut tower will act as a ground. Here goes nothing. Let's see. It's good to go. Just gotta tighten up all the hose clamps on the intake. I know someone's gonna leave a comment like, "You idiot, why did you buy a starter when you didn't check everything else?" But like, what are the odds of that? I didn't mess with any ground wires. I disconnected one from the valve cover and I installed it back on there, and it was a nice clean surface when I put it back on there. Good morning, peoples. It's the next day. My garage is an absolute disaster. Things are unplugging themselves from the wall, and I got some work to do. I have a bit of an emergency right now. So this is a cup of sugar and water, and this is a little bee that was getting attacked by ants outside, and he has a damaged wing. I brought him inside. Oh, it's on your foot, buddy. Come here. There you go. I don't know what to do with him. I guess I just stick him outside near the garden. I don't think he's gonna make it though. It's kind of sad. It's okay. I know. I'm sorry, buddy. I don't know what to do to save you. This is a extra ground wire I have from the Focus. It's a good ground wire, and I no longer need it because I did the battery relocation. I looked up online last night where all the chassis and engine grounds are supposed to be on this car, and there's actually one completely missing that goes from the transmission to the motor mount. That was just never there, maybe when they did the engine swap before I bought the car. Ouch. So I have it running from this bracket over here to the transmission ground, which is the factory routing, I believe, from all the pictures I can find. And this is double the gauge of the factory ground wire. So it should be more than sufficient, says the girl that hasn't tried starting the car yet. There you go. It works. Now we're back to square one. I also kept my factory Toyota starter too, in case I want to rebuild that one. That would just be really weird. But I'm gonna leave the new one on there. It was only $100 anyway. Timing gun. Down there's marks on the plastic cover by the crank pulley and on the pulley itself. I also tightened up the intake. That's why the car stalled. Do you know why I pulled you over? Speeding. I need some man muscle, please.
Shut up.
There's little brass fittings. R134A expansion valve.
You gonna put these fittings on?
I'm gonna bleed the coolant and set the timing, and I'll put the fittings on, and I'll take the glove box off.
And an expansion valve.
And you'll give me a taco. Why do I get that look all the time?
Get your ass to work, Sarah.
I am getting the work. That's what's up. Military friends are friends for life that bring you food and refrigerant. All right, let's start this bad chicken up so I can adjust this timing. Dude, I'm good. It's perfect. It's right at 10 degrees above top dead center. I didn't even have to mess with it. Just tighten it down. It's good to go. What do you think you are, LL Cool Lay?
Sarah. Stop.
What?
Man, the paparazzi out today.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to pick on you. I'll be good now. Basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna sit here and watch the bucket, and then as it gets up to temperature, I'm gonna wait for the coolant to end up in the bucket, because it's hooked up to the radiator, and this is now the highest point in the system. So in theory, I should bleed it. Good talk. This is turning into a job. I got the front of the car jacked up right now, and it just sucked down the entire coolant reservoir. So in theory, I keep filling it up from that side of the car by filling the coolant overflow, and it's sucking up all that coolant from the overflow and waiting for it to start pushing it out up here out of the radiator in the front of the car into that bucket, which will now be the highest point in the system. And yeah, I'm out of coolant.
Let's make it happen, Captain. Let's go.
All right, thank you for sticking it out with me and trying to get this done. The whole purpose of this entire video was I was just gonna real quick bleed the air out of the coolant system, set my distributor timing, and then I was gonna go take the car and go do some stuff. And this is now 2 full days of messing with this stupid thing.
Hello, anybody in there?
Look, you dented the thing.
Is that how you do it?
No, I usually get a sharp object.
Oh, that involves thinking. I don't do that.
You just prefer the pound it out method, huh?
Damn right, beat it up. I hope you're not recording this. I swear.
By the moon and the stars in
My mama
the
raised
sky.
me better than this. Yo,
What?
we doing this?
Yeah.
Oh God.
I try not to give you a bath on this stuff.
I mean, you want to pour some of it in another one? We can do that.
What we got up here in the bucket? Oh, there you go. Oh yeah, there's a lot of air. It's a lot of air. It's almost midnight. We've been out here trying to bleed the air out of the coolant system on the MR2. And we jacked up the nose of the car and we're trying to get the air out that way. Down jack the car, and when I down jack the car, the temp gauge pegged out into the red. And I caught it quick enough. Hopefully, I shut the car off immediately. And I don't know, we just checked the coolant. There's no coolant and oil mixed. I don't know if I warped a head or blew a head gasket or did some damage. I think what happened was an air pocket at the radiator, and then when I down jacked the car, that air pocket moved towards the engine and it went right by the temp sensor possibly. But then it also took down a full container of coolant after, so it was really hard to bleed all the coolant out of these things, and I don't have like a machine to do it. I take that because thank you. Welcome. Alright. Let's see how this goes. This is definitely not one of my normal YouTube videos. I'm not showing you guys any of the work just because I'm so over it with this MR2 right now. I just want to drive this thing. I'm so tired of working on silly crap like this, but that's how project cars go. So I'm gonna drive this thing and see how it goes. I got it topped off with coolant. See what happens. That's a new problem right there. It's not charging the battery. Alright, I'm gonna drive this thing around the block and see how it goes. It's a little after midnight. I just got the MR2 back in the garage. I had to push it in here. The battery died while I was driving it because the alternator is now not charging the battery, which is a brand new problem. It's never occurred before. It's probably another ground issue that just came out of the blue. The car drove fine. I don't know if I warped the head when it went to the hot when I was trying to bleed the coolant out of there. I was monitoring it. I was monitoring the temp gauge, so I don't think that happened. It was probably just an air pocket that moves back there by where the temp sensor's at. But yeah, hopefully I got enough of a video here because I'm ending it no matter what right here. I'm just like so stressed out with these project cars. So luckily my friend was here and he helped me push the car back in the garage. And I don't know. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you soon with another video. Bye.